Hello everybody, welcome back to another video. I'm really excited about this one because this is the start of a series about dieting strategies that suck. And disclaimer, obviously, I am not an expert, I am not a medical professional, I'm not a nutritionist, I'm not any of those things. I am a person that has experienced dieting since I was 18. I'm 43 right now, so you do the math. So I'm just gonna be speaking from my own experience. Chime in whenever you want. I would love to hear your experience as well. Today's video I'm particularly excited about because this is something I have a lot of experience with, calorie counting, and I've grown to hate it over the years. All right, let's talk calorie counting. What is it and why do I hate it so much? Calorie counting is keeping track of what you ate and how much of it. And if you want complete accuracy, you're gonna have to weigh and measure. So that adds another element to calorie counting, which I don't like. So let's talk about the pros of calorie counting. Keeping track of everything you eat forces you to be more aware of how much you're eating and how often you're eating. And then if you add a journal to that, like a mood journal, you can go more in depth and figure out how you're feeling when you're eating certain foods and if you're eating for boredom or filling in some gap in your life. Another pro can be that you learn to flex your discipline muscles. You realize you're not really hungry because all you want is a candy bar. You can flex those discipline muscles because your calorie tracker says no more for the day. And that's about all I have for pros. If you have any other pros for calorie counting, comment down below because I'd love to hear them. Let's get into the cons. This is my favorite part because it's very near and dear to me and I've experienced these things time and time again every time I try to count calories. The first negative for me that comes to mind is restricting to a certain specific static number, such as 1,300 calories a day or 1,500 calories a day. Obviously, we're trying to create a deficit, right? So that we can lose weight. But that doesn't account for the ebb and flow of your daily caloric needs because they can fluctuate day to day. So you could be hungrier that day because you actually need more calories, but we ignore it because we got to stick to this number. Number two is that it never taught me anything about eating healthy. It taught me how to read labels. I got really good at reading labels. For me, I felt like calorie counting promoted eating packaged processed foods because it was actually easier to find those foods in the database or just look at the label and add that to my own database and bam, it's done. And then I would just, next time I ate that food, I would just pick the same thing again in my database. So easy. Whereas like if say I'm eating an apple, I'm not saying that I avoided eating an apple, but I preferred the stuff with the label on it because it was just straightforward. But like the apple, I get stressed because I'm like, is this a medium or is this a small? Like, do I gotta get my ruler out and see if this is right? It was more stressful to eat whole foods. Number three is that almost always guaranteed at the end of the day after dinner, I'd be whining to my husband or to the wall, whoever would listen, that I'm still hungry and I have no calories left. Number four is that I got really good at finding ways to suppress my appetite just to get me through that time in between meals, which I was really hungry because I wasn't eating the right foods to begin with. And I'm trying to make my way over to the next meal. I'm trying to fill that gap. It felt like trying to run the last few miles of a marathon. And I discovered that drinking things like black tea with a smidgen of sugar and almond milk would get me through a couple hours. It would trick my stomach into thinking it had food. I also discovered that eating a square of dark chocolate also did the same thing. I believe it was the caffeine or something. I don't know the science behind it. I just figured it out by accident because I consume both of those things on a regular basis. I see that as a negative because now knowing what I know, it's better just to eat when you're hungry and not have to like kill your appetite. Genuine hunger and not actually honoring it. It's just so messed up. Number five, calorie counting caused me to feel anxious about food, constantly thinking about food. What am I gonna eat next? What am I gonna have for dinner tonight? Am I gonna have enough calories for dinner tonight? What am I gonna have for lunch? It's just like food. It just caused anxiety and stress. Number six, it is very tedious to count your calories every single day. And want to eat a homemade meal, it's like, oh, I gotta enter all this stuff. I gotta enter the whole damn meal and then measure out how much I ate. And it's tedious and it's not sustainable. Who wants to do that for the rest of your life? And speaking of unsustainable for the long term, number 7 brings me to my last point. The fear of stopping calorie counting. I know that when I was successful in losing some weight on calorie counting, I always would gain it back when I stopped because I just lost touch, and it didn't teach me how to eat when I'm hungry. It didn't teach me what to eat, like the optimal way of eating. And now that I know that it's all about caloric density, you know, focusing on foods that are under 600 calories per pound, you know, such as legumes, grains like quinoa, brown rice, potatoes, vegetables, fruit, and just staying away from things that are a little more calorie dense like dried fruit and nuts. Oil is extremely calorie dense. I have this freedom now that I can trust my body to get the right amount of calories when I stick to those foods. Not to say that I'll never ever hop on Cronometer, which is my preferred choice if I want to kind of see where I'm at. I sometimes use it every now and then, so I'm not trying to be a hypocrite here, but it can be a tool. It's just one that drives me nuts to do more than for a couple of weeks. So I sometimes will get on a Cronometer and see how many calories I'm eating and like what my macros are and nutrients, especially if people are asking me, are you getting enough protein? Are you getting enough this, and that? So it's handy for that, and go in and show somebody, you know, here's a week of my food. Take a look at what calories I'm getting and nutrients and protein and all that stuff. So it is kind of handy for that. But for the long term and overall, it drives me nuts. And I'm so glad I'm free from that now. So I'm going to wrap today's video up here. Comment down below your experience with calorie counting, good or bad. I want to hear it. Let's have a conversation. All right, I'll see you in the next one. Bye, everyone. Yeah, whatever that means. And, you know, that's the way she goes. All right, that's the intro. Series that, hello.